Hey, Glenda, girl, listen, I'm right there with you. And the more I study, the more I uncover. I'm just like, it was a free for all. They were just blatantly obvious about being deceptive. And so I've decided on this coming Friday at noon, I'm going to be doing a live where I'm going to do a truth Bible study. We're going to go line by line through the scriptures. I'm going to show you what I found high level because there's so much, it's not enough time in one live to go through it. But I need you all to see the strategy. Once you start understanding what they did, then you see the strategy behind it. Then you see how truly deceptive it was. It was like they just were playing with our faith. They were playing with what we believe. They were playing with the Father. And there's so many scriptures in the Word where it says, don't change what He put in there. Don't add to it. Don't take anything away. They added so much to it. And they took the most important thing away. They took away His name. Just think about 6,800 times His name appeared in the Word, and they wiped it out completely. And to make it so that we couldn't see it, they put different names. So instead of it saying, I am Yahuwah, it'll say, I am the Lord. Or it's supposed to say, I am Yahuwah. It says, I am your God. Or I am the Lord your God. Or I am, there's so much. And that's just one deception. There are so many. I think they've identified 400,000 errors. 400,000 errors in the Word. And we wouldn't know that because we just believe with our hearts. We have faith and we trust and we know that our ancestors passed down this Word to give us the Father. They wanted us to believe and they wanted us to know and be rooted in truth. And the sad thing is the people who changed it, they knew we would want to be rooted in the truth. That's why they gave us a book to be rooted in. And they took away the scrolls. Okay, Father, I'm feeling led to share this little bit of it. When King James, before King James, the Nicene Council, when Constantine, 325 AD, he called together all of these wise ones. He called together all these people, and they decided what was going to be kept in the canonized version of the Bible and what was going to be put out. Well, when they did that, they told all the people who had scrolls to bring us your scrolls, bring us what you have so that we can compile it all, combine it, and give you a book so everybody could have it, right? Well, that was what they said. Once they got those scrolls, they realized what it actually said, and they decided we can't publish this. Instead, let's change it so that we can control them. And then they did a big old bonfire and burned up all those scrolls. But there were a few people that the Father had tapped and told them, do not turn in your scrolls. Instead, hide them. Put them in these big old, you remember those big old, I'm holding my arms out, those big clay pots. They stuffed them in those clay pots, took them up to the top of the mountain and hid them in caves. And they stayed in those caves for over, 13,000, 100, wait, let me not mess that up. This happened in 325 AD, and it was in the 1950s that they found the Dead Sea Scrolls. Okay, so it was in the mountains in those vats for that many years. All right, and then once we found those, they started to study them, and that's how we know what the deceptions were. That's how we are able to see what they did in plain sight. It's crazy how the lengths they went to, but now we know. And so it's important for us to understand that everything that Yahuwah did, everything that the Father did back in those days that they wrote about, that they kept track of, that they told those stories down, passed it down from generation to generation, everything that He did, they said, well, we can't give Him what He did, so let's create a counterfeit. And they gave us a parallel counterfeit for everything. Everything. So the words that we use today are the words they fed us. The original words are the words that Yahuwah used. And we've been locked out of those until today. So I want to just invite you to join me on Friday to do a Bible study, truth Bible study. But then I also want to invite you to go to, all of you, to go to truthscriptures.store, I believe, and order your copy of the Berit Hadash. This is the New Testament. It was just translated last year. There's a whole team of people going back to the original text. They're looking at the Leningrad Codex. I might not be saying that correct. They're going back to the Peshitta. They're using the Dead Sea Scrolls. They're using all of these old texts far before the Nicene Council, far before King James, far before all of the manipulation of the word. And they're translating it word for word to English directly, bypassing the Greek, which was so corrupt. That was so corrupt. I'll talk about that in another video too. The Greek language has its deities embedded in the language. And it has its deities embedded in the language because that's what Yahuwah did. His name was embedded in the ancient Paleo-Hebrew language. That's why so many of them have his name in their names. John's name was Yahuhanan. Goodness. Yahusha's name has Yahuwah in it. Matiti Yahuwah's name is in his name. And there's so many. And make sure you get the truth bookmarks. Let me show you what they look like. And this is a copy I've been using, y'all. So forgive that it's paper and it looks like this. And I wrote my notes on it. But these bookmarks, there's 4 pages. I've created them in color, and then there's a printable version, and you're going to be able to see the ancient names and the names that they were replaced by. You'll be able to see the original names of all of the books of the Bible prior to them being changed, and you'll be able to see the names of many of the prophets prior to them being changed, and you'll see that Yahuwah's name was in them, and that's why they had to change it. They had to, because it would all lead back to him. And then the beautiful thing about our Father is he left breadcrumbs in the word. He said, they're going to try to get you to forget my name. It's in there. And then he says, they're going to have you, just like your forefathers forgot. He said, they're going to have you forget my name for Baal. And that's exactly what they did. The title God, the title Lord, those names were originally used to refer to Baal, a whole nother deity that is not our Father. And if you remember, I think it was Elijah that had that big old contest, and he was trying to get the head guy. I'm messing up the names. I'm not even gonna try to tell the story till I can get the names right, because it's not on the tip of my tongue. Anyway, it was a big deal. What they did was a big deal. The deception was very calculating. It was very intentional. It was very obvious when you see what they changed. And we should be very angry because we have been very betrayed. But the Father is very faithful, and he is very honorable, and he has very much left breadcrumbs for us to be able to find our way back to him. So I'm grateful for that, and I'm grateful for your comment. So we're not going to be angry anymore, not that kind of angry. Right now, we're just going to dig in. We're going to understand what they did, and we're going to get our power back, and we're going to tap into Yahuwah's strength and his wisdom, and it's going to open up a whole new level of intimacy that we get to walk with him because now we know his name. Just think about how important it is for somebody to call you by your name. When somebody says, hey, woman, you don't respond to that. That's a title. Hey, lady. Hey, mother. Hey, girl. It doesn't ring the same as if I say, hey, Glenda, right? It matters. His name matters to him too, and that's why it was the first commandment. Keep his name set apart. All right, y'all take good care. Be empowered. Join me on Friday for the Truth Bible study, and I can't wait. Make sure you go to promotethetruth.com. Is a powerful resource. That's the organization that's translating. They've already translated the Brit Hadash. That's the New Testament. They started with the New. I dropped it. Okay. This is the Brit Hadash. This is the New Testament. The Old Testament, they're still working on. They'll be finished with it by the beginning of the summer, probably late spring. Do connect to that organization. We are studying the Bible, studying the translations as they translate it, line by line. Bring your Bible, the one you have, and let's compare. All right? I'm looking forward to taking this journey deeper. Y'all be good. Talk soon. Bye-bye. Make sure you like, follow, do all the stuff. Talk soon.